There is something powerful that most people never learn, something that strong people discovered a long ago, and it changed everything for them. The power of silence. Not the silence of fear, not the silence of having nothing to say, but the silence of someone who knows their own worth and needs no one to confirm it. Think about the last time you over-explained yourself. Maybe you canceled plans and sent a long message explaining why. Maybe you made a decision and felt the need to justify it to everyone around you. Maybe you were misunderstood and spent hours trying to make someone see your side. You gave explanation after explanation and still felt unheard, still felt unseen, still felt like it was not enough. Here's what that pattern is really telling you. Every time you over-explain, you are silently saying, I need your approval to feel okay about my choices. And that one belief is quietly stealing your power every single day. Strong people understand something different. They understand that explaining yourself to everyone is not honesty. It is not transparency. It is not kindness. It is anxiety wearing the mask of communication. Think about the people you respect most. Do they explain every decision they make? Do they justify their choices to people who did not ask? Do they defend themselves to everyone who misunderstands them? No, they simply act. They simply decide. They simply move forward and let their actions speak. Because here's the truth about silence. Silence is not empty. Silence is full of answers that do not need words, full of confidence that does not need validation, full of strength that does not need permission. When you stop explaining yourself, something remarkable happens. People start to sense your boundaries. They start to feel that you know who you are. They start to understand that your decisions are final, not because you're cold, not because you're arrogant, but because you are secure. And security, real, deep, unshakable security, is the most attractive quality a human being can have. So today, I want to give you permission to stop explaining, permission to stop justifying, permission to stop defending. Your choices are yours. Your life is yours. Your peace is yours. You do not owe anyone an explanation for choosing your peace, for choosing your path, for choosing yourself. The right people will understand without explanation, and the wrong people will never understand, no matter how much you explain. So save your words, save your energy, save your peace. Stay silent, stay strong, stay you. This is Modern Mindset Pro, and your mind deserves the peace that silence brings. Have you ever noticed something about truly strong people? They do not explain themselves very much. They do not justify their decisions to everyone around them. They do not defend their choices to people who did not ask. They simply move forward, quietly, confidently, peacefully. And somehow, people respect them more for it. Have you ever wondered why? It is not because they do not care what people think. It is not because they are cold or distant. It is because they understand one of the most powerful truths about human nature. Explaining yourself too much actually weakens you. And silence, real, intentional silence, makes you unbreakable. Think about your own life for a moment. Think about the times you over-explained a decision. You canceled plans and wrote a paragraph apologizing. You made a choice and felt the need to justify it to 5 different people. You set a boundary and then immediately felt guilty about it and explained yourself until the boundary completely disappeared. Sound familiar? Here's what's really happening in those moments. Every time you rush to explain yourself, you are telling the world something very important. You are saying, I do not fully trust my own decisions. I need you to agree with me before I feel okay. I need your understanding before I can move forward. And that need for outside approval is quietly draining your confidence every single day. Strong people learned something different. They learned that not every question deserves an answer, not every criticism deserves a response, not every misunderstanding needs to be corrected. Some things are simply better left in silence. Because here's what silence actually communicates. When you stay silent instead of over-explaining, you communicate confidence. You communicate that you trust your own judgment. You communicate that your decisions do not require a committee vote. And people feel that. They sense that quiet certainty, and they respond to it with respect. There's also something else silence does, something most people never realize. Silence protects your peace. Every time you over-explain to someone who was never going to understand anyway, you lose energy, you lose time, you lose a piece of your inner calm that you can never get back. Strong people protect that energy fiercely. They know their peace is worth more than being understood by everyone. So what does this look like in real life? It looks like making a decision and not announcing it to everyone. It looks like setting a boundary and not writing an essay about why. It looks like walking away from a situation without explaining every step. It looks like trusting yourself enough to move forward without needing a single person to validate that choice. And I want you to understand something important. Staying silent is not the same as being secretive. It is not the same as being cold or uncaring. It is simply choosing where your energy goes. It is choosing to protect your peace. It is choosing to trust yourself deeply, completely, unapologetically. Because the moment you stop explaining yourself to everyone, you start living for yourself. And that's when everything truly changes. You do not need permission to live your life. You do not need approval to make your choices. You do not need understanding from everyone to know that you are on the right path. Stay silent. Stay strong. Stay deeply and completely yourself. This is Modern Mindset Pro, and your mind deserves the kind of peace that only silence can give. There is a version of you that does not explain, that does not justify, that does not defend. A version of you that simply knows their worth, knows their path, knows their peace, and needs absolutely nothing from the outside world to confirm any of it. That version of you already exists. You just have to choose it. Most of us were never taught this. We were taught that explaining ourselves is respectful, that justifying our choices shows maturity, that defending our decisions proves we are thoughtful people. And so we explain, we justify, we defend, over and over again, to people who were never really listening anyway. And every single time we do this, something small dies inside of us. A little piece of our confidence, a little piece of our self-trust, a little piece of our inner authority. Gone. Because we handed it to someone else and asked them to give it back to us in the form of their approval. But here is what strong people discovered. Approval from others is the most unstable foundation you could ever build your life upon, because it shifts, it changes, it disappears the moment people change their minds or their moods or their circumstances. And if your confidence depends on their approval, it disappears with it. Strong people build something different. They build their confidence from the inside, from their own values, their own judgment, their own quiet certainty that what they're doing is right for them, even if no one else understands it, even if no one else agrees. Even if the whole world questions their choices, they remain still, they remain silent, they remain unshaken. And that stillness, that silence, is not emptiness. It is fullness. It is the fullness of someone who no longer needs the world to make sense of them, because they have already made sense of themselves. Think about what your life would look like if you stopped explaining every decision, if you stopped apologizing for every boundary, if you stopped defending every choice to people who are never going to understand anyway. How much lighter would you feel? How much more energy would you have? How much more peace would fill your days? That life is available to you right now, today, not after you become more confident, not after you stop caring what people think, not after everything in your life is perfectly figured out. Right now, in this very moment, you can simply decide to stop explaining. Because here is the most powerful thing silence teaches you. When you stop looking for approval outside, you start finding something far more valuable inside. Your own voice, your own clarity, your own unshakable sense of who you are. And once you find that, once you truly find that, no one can ever take it from you. So from today, make your decisions quietly, set your boundaries calmly, walk your path confidently, and let your life speak for itself. Because the most powerful statement you will ever make is not something you say, it is something you become. Someone who needs no explanation, no justification, no approval. Someone who simply is. This is Modern Mindset Pro, and your mind has always deserved that kind of freedom.